Good morning, children. It's Thursday, 11th June 2020. Now, today we'll be learning about myths and legends. This is a new unit that we are going to start from today, and the unit will go on for at least 3 weeks. Now, our learning intention today is to study traditional myths and legends and understand why ancient people believed in them. Success criteria: I can understand what are myths and legends. I know the difference between a myth and a legend. I can look at the ingredients of myths and legends and use them to create my own myth. Myth. A myth is a traditional story that is not based on something that really happened and is usually about a superhuman being or a hero. Legend. A legend is like a myth but is usually based on someone or something that did exist. Okay, so now you know now the difference that myth is not based on something that really happened, whereas a legend is usually based on someone or something that did exist. So that is the main difference between a myth and a legend. What traditional stories can you think of? Put them in a mind map and can you tell whether they are myths or legends? So think about the traditional stories that we did during autumn 1, and you can put them in your mind and can you decide whether they were myths or whether they were legends? Myths. The most famous myths are those of ancient Greeks. These are stories that tell of gods with power all over all aspects of the world, including love, thunder, and war. It is said that the stories of how these gods use their powers were made up to help explain things that people didn't understand, like why the rain falls or why the seasons change. Sometimes myths also try to teach a moral lesson where a character in the story does something that is morally wrong or bad and they have to suffer the consequences. Okay, so sometimes myths also teach you a lesson, and where a character does something wrong and then they suffer because of the wrong things that they've done. So sometimes they also teach you a lesson. Some other features of myths are: myths are usually stories with a deep symbolic meaning. Certain myths have survived for thousands of years and they are often used to explain how the world began or how a certain culture was started. Now, some of the key words that are associated with myths are mortal, immortal, heroine, creatures, underworld, beginning of time, nymphs, and hero. And the settings might be in the heavens, earth, underworld, and ancient cities. Now, if you go on the knowledge organizer, children, on the school's website, the meanings of some of these keywords are there on the knowledge organizer. So I would say go on the school's website and go through the knowledge organizer. It will tell you what are we planning to do in this unit. What are legends? Now, other features of legends are they are stories that can be part truth. The stories usually involve a hero fighting monsters and being helped by magical creatures. They often involve the beliefs of the culture they are spawned from. Now, some of the key words associated with legends are heaven again, old world, angel, gods, demon, deity, dragon, and kingdom. And again, the settings might be in a kingdom, a land far, far away, clouds, and hell. Now, again, some of the meanings of these key words are on the knowledge organizer. Go on the knowledge organizer and have a look at the knowledge organizer, and it will tell you the meanings of these keywords. Now, here is a small activity that you can do as a starter for myths and legends. Myths and legends are full of fancy and descriptive language. They use words carefully, and to put ideas in your head, this is called imagery. Now, use a thesaurus to find more of a wow word for each of the words. Here is an example: shiny. Now, the synonyms for shiny are glittering, luminescent, golden, and dazzling. So, the other few words where you have to find the synonyms from a thesaurus are old, magical, brave, scared, happy, and clever. So find different words for old. Then find different words for magical. Find different words for brave. Now I know you don't won't have a thesaurus at home, but if you go on the internet and just type in thesaurus, or you can say different words for old, then you will get all the different words. Make a list of those words and write them on your sheet of paper. After you've written all the different words, the challenge that's going to be for you is you're going to put your favorite words from the thesaurus in sentences. Choose at least three words to write them into sentences. The Minotaur. One of the most famous monsters from a myth is the Minotaur. This creature was a half human, half bull that lived at the center of a large labyrinth or maze. Listen to the description of the Minotaur and fill in a chart like the one below. Okay, so size, shape, skin, head, hair, and teeth. So, in this lesson, we are going to learn about the myth which involved Theseus and the Minotaur. Okay, now you are going to listen to the description of the Minotaur, and then you are going to write the description of the Minotaur in a chart like this. So, the next slide will be the story of Theseus and the Minotaur. Theseus and the Minotaur. A long time ago, on an island called Crete, there lived a king named Minos. King Minos had a powerful navy, a beautiful daughter, and a huge palace. However, King Minos still grew bored. Whenever he got bored, he took his navy across the sea to attack a city called Athens. The king of Athens grew tired of King Minos attacking his city and in desperation made a deal with him. If Minos would leave Athens alone, Athens would send 7 Athenian girls and 7 Athenian boys to Crete every 9 years to be eaten by the Minotaur. Okay, so I hope everybody is understanding the story so far. It's a very simple and straightforward story. There was this king called Minos, and he kept on attacking the kingdom of Athens. So the king of Athens he grew tired, and he said that if you leave alone, I will send 7 boys and 7 girls every 9 years to be eaten by the Minotaur. Now, who was the Minotaur? The Minotaur was a monster that was half human and half bull. He lived in the center of a huge maze on the island of Crete. King Minos loved this horrible monster and liked to give it a treat every now and then. He knew that his people would prefer it if he fed his monster Athenian children, so King Minos accepted the deal. Okay, so now here it gives you the description of the Minotaur that he was half human and half bull, and he lived in a huge maze. Now, again, the definition of maze is on the knowledge organizer. Okay, so and he was like a pet to King Minos. The Minotaur was actually like a pet to King Minos, and he liked to give him a treat every now and then. And of course, his people wouldn't want to feed their own children to the Minotaur, so he knew that his people would prefer if he fed the monster Athenian children. So King Minos, he accepted the deal and he said that, okay, I will not attack Athens if every 9 years you send me seven of your boys and seven of your girls to be fed by the Minotaur. Now, this is the beginning of the story. Now, we'll be doing the next part of the story in tomorrow's lesson. Now, your task is use a similar chart to plan your own monster. Once you've planned it, draw and describe it in the same way. So, you heard the description of the monster. Now, you have to make your own monster. Okay, so fill in this chart first about the size and shape of your monster. How is his skin, how is his head, his hair, teeth, tail, claws, eyes, smell and sound. So fill in the chart and then draw your monster, and then write a short description of your monster, like how you had the description about the Minotaur in the previous slide. Same way you have to write a description of your own monster. Good luck with the task, and I'll see you tomorrow.